Awesome. So RISE is involved in a ton of stuff today. I'm going to refer mostly to fieldwork that took place at Potrillo Volcanic Field in New Mexico earlier this year. But it's important to note that that's just one thin slice of this really big science picture, ranging from like building blocks of matter scale all the way up to solar system scale. And we were joined in the field by a science journalism class from Stony Brook University. Let's see, can I advance slides here? Sweet, thank you. So Stony Brook and RISE are working together to support science literacy in the next generation of reporters. We want to build connections between these science journalism students and NASA scientists. And we also, this is a huge value add for the RISE team, right? We get to bring these firsthand accounts of NASA field research to broad audiences in a different way, in a way that we don't usually get to when we're in the field. So how do we do this? It requires really clear expectation setting and communication between all parties, and it requires us to dial in the mechanics, dial in the logistics of this collaboration. So I will just introduce briefly a few points related to both of those. RISE is embedded in the class from the beginning. The earliest lectures the students experience in Professor Zach Dowdy's class at Stony Brook include a visit from the project PI, include a discussion with an experienced field scientist who can help to demystify some of what's coming throughout the semester. Students visit local labs in person and more distant labs virtually, and that's one way that we're able to connect them with researchers whose specialties go beyond just this field deployment. They joined us in the field for a few days, and before, during, and after that time, scientists and students work together on one-on-one conversations and interviews. Throughout the semester, we worked behind the scenes, and the students were included in expectation setting, covering field gear, what was going to be physically needed to succeed and be safe, covering safety practices and procedures, covering expectations for professional conduct. Students were provided with the same support and held to the same expectations as the rest of the team throughout the process. We also found that scientists and journalists in some ways speak different professional languages, right? And so our team is really indebted to Professor Dowdy at Stony Brook for helping to bridge that gap and working with us to ensure that everyone was just on the same page and was comfortable with each other's needs, with each other's etiquette. We were able to really support those interactions happening in a way that helped everybody meet their goals. Let's take just a minute for logistics. So some of the key considerations that we keep in mind when we're planning this project are communication. Zach Dowdy is the point person at Stony Brook for this project, and I'm the point person on our team at NASA. We meet almost weekly throughout the year to make this project happen, and we arrange meetings with other key players as needed. Travel arrangements, in our case, were handled by the university. I'm the logistics specialist for this team, and I was able to arrange lodging for everybody. We have learned that it's really valuable for us to make sure that both teams have easy access to each other and also have the option to take a little bit of space at the end of the day. And the way we've done that has worked really well is by booking room blocks at 2 hotels that are right next door to each other. And that makes it super easy for the students to join our morning briefing and our evening briefing and travel with us and do a late night interview after the field day. But also make sure that the students can clock out at the end of the day, and the science team can be off the clock at the end of the day. Everyone gets that little bit of space. The students participated in the same plan for meals as the rest of the team. We did packed lunches in the field. We made sure that the Stony Brook journalism team had sufficient transportation to move independently. And then we had the flexibility to adjust from there and make sure that, if student A is covering UAV science, student A can go with our UAV specialist, but we know we have the capacity for that team to move as a unit. And again, the journalism group contributed to the safety and the professional environment that the rest of the team was also committed to upholding. At the end of the students' time in the field, we held a conversational debrief. We also solicited anonymous feedback. And from all of the feedback we received, 3 themes emerged. These were clear themes. We heard students express these points over and over. Many students came in initially with a sense of intimidation about working with this team of NASA scientists, but during their time in the field, that gave way to a sense of comfort, a sense of competency. We heard over and over that the interactions between scientists and students were supportive and welcoming, and that there was really free range to discuss all the questions that needed to be discussed. And we heard that the students found satisfaction in having contributed to the team. And I want to really clarify there, this was not like a feeling like I contributed thing. This was a we got more done because they were there situation. They really, really brought a lot to the table, and that was extremely valuable to our team. We were really grateful for their help and flexibility. And it was of value to the Stony Brook team as well to really get in there and get some firsthand experience in the field. So some key outcomes from this past year's program for students, they got to be in the mix in this field research. They got to see how science happens for this team in practice, and they got practice reporting from the field. For curious people, for everybody who is interested, we will have a website featuring the students reporting, and that'll be coming out soon. It'll be hosted on the Stony Brook domain. We'll be promoting it as well through NASA channels. For RISE, we really valued this opportunity not only to communicate the team's science, but also to just be a part of this training process, this much larger training process for this upcoming generation of reporters who are responsible for communicating information for a long time to come. And we all benefit when journalists have the tools to disseminate accurate, relevant information. So we were really grateful to get to be a part of that process. I want to say a huge thanks to all of my co-authors, to Stony Brook University Science Journalism class, Professor Zach Dowdy, the School of Journalism, and of course to Survey for supporting this work. Thank you.